Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Oh my, it's my favorite time of the year. We got playoffs going all over the place, daily action in the NHL, the NBA, and it continues for several weeks until we get deeper into it. Welcome to the Sports Call, everyone. Bob Pompeani here in the Fan Cave. It's 412-575-2600. Andrew Fillipponi will speak to you from his home on top of Foster Plaza in Green Tree. It's 93.7 The Fan. Pony, good evening. What's going on?
Bob, I was watching a lot of sports before I came here. 2 hockey games, the Pirates blowing out the Rockies, the Sixers pulled away from the Nets. Cam Johnson has really turned himself into a very good NBA player. He is not yet on the Mount Rushmore of basketball players to come out of this area, but he is getting very close to that. You've got Billy Knight and Maurice Lucas and those guys, Bob, but he's probably into the top 10 now with the great work he's done with the Suns and now the Nets is probably their best scorer.
And I also think that trade with him and Mikal Bridges going there for Kevin Durant is going to be very fruitful because there's more to it. Brooklyn will get more things. I think that's a good. Durant wasn't happy, and he won't be happy now because they're down 1-0 in their series to the Clippers, although I certainly expect the Suns to win that. I want to talk to you about the NHL playoffs and the fact that we saw the New York Islanders. I thought were going to win that game tonight. I picked them to win that series against Carolina. But it was a 2-1 final. Carolina wins. And I watched Antti Ranta. I also saw a note today that Ottawa doesn't want to meet Cam Talbot's asking price. And I'm looking ahead to the Penguins and their goaltending situation next year. What do you think might play out there? And number one, do you expect Tristan Jarry to be back based on what Mike Sullivan said the other day if the price is right?
Sounds like Mike Sullivan wants him back. That's ridiculous. The guy's save percentage in the playoffs is under 900. He was 17th in save percentage this year. That's a below-average goalie. So he wasn't good this year. He hasn't been good in the playoffs, and he isn't durable. He's unreliable. He was hurt this year. He was hurt last year. So other than that, I'm not really sure when Mike Sullivan he says he's a top-tier goalie, by what definition? Apparently just Mike Sullivan's subjective opinion because the facts do not back that up. I hope he's not back, because I think they need a shift. I think they need a change. If they were to bring Jarry back and then suffer the same goalie crisis, they'd have no one but themselves to blame. It's time for something new. Ranta's starting in Carolina. If it's not him, maybe Frederick Anderson, who's also a free agent. Give one of those guys a fresh start. We'll see. You mentioned Talbot. He's well-traveled now. I don't know. Trade market as well. Got to look into that this offseason. So a lot can be determined by what these goalies do in the playoffs, and the Penguins should be looking around every nook and cranny to find their next franchise goalie or stopgap goalie for a year to probably be the 55-game starter to Casey DeSmith's backup goalie next year, Bob.
And as I said, Carolina did win tonight 2-1 at home. Boston also took care of Florida, although I thought Florida played a pretty good game. Alex Lyon's another one of those kind of guys. You know, he's a 30-year goalie, and he down the stretch, but he was 184 goals against average over his last 8 games, and they needed him because Spencer Knight has had mental issues that he's dealing with, and then you have Bob Roski who's injured, and he stepped up pretty well. So there are goaltenders to find. Real quick, I have Edmonton beating the Devils in the playoffs in the Stanley Cup Final. I like both young teams. I think the Devils are going to show that they're ready, even though they're a little younger. A lot of people think they'll lose because of it. What's your take on who you like at the end of the rainbow there when it comes to those two Eastern-Western teams?
I think the Rangers are going to beat the Devils in this first-round series. I like them a lot. I think they can do a lot of damage. I think it's going to be Rangers and Bruins in the Eastern Conference Final. I'm going to take a New York Rangers, Seattle Kraken Stanley Cup Final.
That's interesting. I think there are a lot of ways to go here. And in the NHL, we've seen kind of some stunning upsets along the way. All right, we're going to take a break, Andrew. We'll talk about the Pirates as well, and they're off to a good start. They're a fun team to watch. I don't think there's any questions so far. We'll see if that continues, and we want your calls. We have a lot of them I see on the lines. Hannah Mears is in there taking your calls tonight, so call her. She'll put you on with us at 412-575-2600. That's the number. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call right here on Pittsburgh CW and 93.7 The Fan.